Hey, let's bring in IWF Vice President for Policy Hadley Heath Manning. Hadley, we've had these kind of conversations before, but it feels like it's becoming more and more pressing. You know, China was on the cusp of overtaking America, and for the most part, they blew it. And they can't turn it around. You know, they're actually trying to incentivize 2, 3, 4 kids, a huge change from a one-child policy. But we're drifting here in this country as well. Your thoughts?
You know, the increase or the decrease in the birth rate is largely driven, Charles, by a huge increase in the number of people who have 0 children. So the fertility rate among mothers hasn't changed that much recently in recent decades, but what we are seeing is a huge increase in the number of people who will have no children throughout their childbearing years. And this is due to a lot of factors. We've talked about this before, but increased access to contraception, increased participation by women in our education system, in various professions that are very demanding of women throughout their childbearing years. Also factors that relate to the increased cost or perceived cost of having children. So some of these are economic factors. But Charles, I have to say, I think that regardless of the economic factors, much of this is driven by cultural norms, by social norms, by what people want out of life. It's a spiritual issue. It's much more than just an economic issue. As Kelly said, many countries and even employers trying to pay people to have babies, trying to provide paid leave or child care benefits, these things have not been effective at changing things when it comes to global fertility rates.
I guess in that regard, America is lucky that so many people want to come and live here. And this is the place to be. So as long as I think we remain a capitalist society where you're rewarded for your hard work and innovation, maybe that can kind of counter this. I do want to ask you about something else, though. You mentioned the cultural aspect. There's a big story in Fortune. America's hopelessness crisis may have less to do with the economy and more to do with Gen Z's mental health. Although I think their mental health is tied to the economy. You know, we talk a lot on this show about doom spending and things like that. Where do you think we're going?
You know, mental health is also tied to some of these questions around family, marriage, parenthood. These things might look like a drag if you only pay attention to certain TikTok accounts or certain Instagram posts, but the reality is that many people derive a lot of happiness and a lot of meaning in their life from their marriage, from becoming a parent. So skipping these things for Gen Z or for millennials might actually result in less happiness or in more challenges when it comes to being happy and having that stability in life that a family unit can provide. So it's, you know, a chicken and the egg question, right. but definitely I've found a lot of happiness in my marriage and in my kids. I'm in my kid era.
I got you. Well, you know, it's so funny because I always tell people there's no way I would have made it as a broker if I didn't have my daughter. She was less than 1 year old. I was working 100% commission, and it was tough. It was tooth and nail, but I really worked hard and I made it because I had to make a better life for her. Yeah, I got 30 seconds to go, Hadley. What's the role of government in all of this? What should they be doing?
Well, the government has tried in many cases in many countries to incentivize this. I think, again, we have to turn to culture. I'm not someone who obsesses very much over what Taylor Swift decides to do from day to day, but I am curious to see where her relationship with Travis Kelce goes. I mean, here's this very prominent dating relationship. I think if they get married and start a family, then that's going to be a cultural signal to a lot of people that that's a cool thing to do. So I'm looking forward to, you know, maybe wedding bells in the future for Taylor Swift. I would be happy for her if that happens.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we've come a long way. Hadley, thank you very much.